Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. FrankWalkerLaw.com. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have in the building my two co-hosts, Lisa Odie.
Hello.
And Hollis Lewis.
Hello, hello.
So, guys, there's been, and lady.
I take no offense to that anymore. So,
there's been some crazy stuff taking place, in sports here in the last couple of weeks or so.
And some are unfortunate
and
events.
some are really personally
Yes.
for me really like a difficult situation as a whole. So we'll slow down and wait and get that toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I can go back. I don't know. It seems like it was just yesterday, and I can remember Tiger Woods like being the name. I'm out on the golf course trying to be, a version of him. Mm-hmm. Guys, what's going on? Like,
wow.
what?
Yeah, I'll give some background. Is that okay for the audience?
Yes.
I think most people know what happened this past Friday, but we'll make sure the audience is aware. So Tiger Woods was once again involved in a rollover car crash on Friday, March 27th at Jupiter, Florida, in Jupiter, Florida, where he lives. He was very close to his home. When they found him, he was alert. He was uninjured. So, of course, they ran him through the tests of a DUI. They gave him a breathalyzer and no alcohol was detected. Mm-hmm. And he refused a urine test.
Yes. So
under the Florida law, I guess, for driving under the influence, he has been charged officially with a DUI. So
I'll just put a
yes,
pin.
Please do.
When you refuse some sort of breathalyzer DUI sort of test, then you can be charged, even though there's not necessarily quote unquote evidence.
So I
just want to put a pin in that for the audience.
Right. And the timing of it's very unfortunate for Tiger. He had just played in something called the TGL Finals on the 24th of March, just a few days before. And if people aren't, aware of what that is, it is an indoor stadium golf league. And so he was a part of that. And that was his first professional appearance since 2024. So it seemed like he was, kind of turning things around. He had spoken to the media recently and stated, he wanted to play in the Masters, the upcoming Masters in April. Guys, what is your opinion of what's going on with Tiger right now?
Well, I mean, I just want to clarify, there is no, again, the DUI is alleged right now.
Right.
We just explained the situation as far as him being the reason why he was probably charged, even though he passed the breathalyzer. But this is just who he is. This is who Tiger is.
This is just who he is.
Yeah, we had an image of him, and when he was young, he had his father there. He was focused. He was dialed in. He was trying to get to the mountaintop. He got to the mountaintop. And it's just who he is. I mean, he is a guy. He's more like Chuck Daly than what we thought.
You think so?
Apparently, he's a quieter, maybe a more reserved version of that.
Yeah.
But he seems to be that similar guy. I mean, he likes to allegedly likes to party, drink, likes to have the ladies. This is just who he is, and that's okay.
Okay.
Other than the alleged DUI,
I'm going to say that I agree with you. Mm-hmm. In some respect, but I'm going to challenge the change. I have seen a number of, and you all, when I say this, you all are going to agree with me. I have seen a number of amazing top level, top 2, 3 in their sport just lose their mind and do stupid stuff.
Okay.
I think that this is in part because of his greatness and believing that you are bigger than anything. There's no way to touch you. There's no way to touch you. You can do these things now.
Well, his wife allegedly touched him up a couple times. Allegedly. Allegedly. Just bring some legend into the situation.
And even though once you get caught, blamed, argue with your wife, and you do your time, and the threat that they're like, don't do this again or we'll do this. You don't buy that. Like, I don't think that you could ever believe that anybody can touch you when you are you're at the top of the world. Like, everything is below you.
Did you ever feel that way when you
I
were
never
in a
was that
profession?
player. I never was that player. Now, did I get to a point?
When you were going to the Pro Bowl, you were, to a degree. You're not. Tiger Woods is an entity of his own. We know that.
And again, golf is a singular thing.
Yes, yes.
Even at the Pro Bowl, there's somebody that the other guy on the other side of me was Darryl Green. So am I looking at Darryl Green and saying, who is he? Why did they even put him in? I can't do that.
Right.
There's other guys that are in there that I honestly, if I can be honest with myself, I can look at and say, no, I'm not there.
Well, what? I would love to get Darryl Green on. So if you can make that happen, let's try to do that. But I'm saying I just don't think so. I think this is just who he is. I think that we had an image of what we thought he was, and this is just who he is. And I think like sort of how we romanticize sports heroes and sports figures in the past. It's just not that way no more. He's a regular dude, and he's a regular dude apparently who likes to party, apparently who likes the ladies, who likes to live a certain lifestyle that's sort of that we don't necessarily connect. We don't connect the lifestyle with golfing in that lifestyle. We don't connect how they actually are with the country club lifestyle. These guys are partiers. They like to drink. They like to have a good time. They just like any other football, basketball player, professional athlete.
There's places that they go to hang out and all those kind of things.
I'm gonna counter that though. But this is the fourth time he's been in a major accident. The regular 9-to-5 guy that works at the job at the factory doesn't get a fourth chance to go out here and
that's
drive.
true. I agree with that.
So in a way, I agree with Carl that he's kind of been given this mentality that he can get away with what he's doing because, like I said, I mean, not every time in these accidents was it related to, whatever he's doing, not by, whatever allegedly that he is under the influence of. But, at least 2 or 3 of them. One time he was asleep in his car, right? Like they found him sleeping in his car.
But I think he only got 1 DUI. Am I correct? He's just one DUI.
I'd have to look it up, but I know it's the 4th time he's had a major accident, like a rollover.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the question becomes, is that just his driving skills?
Nah, I don't think it's that. I mean, and you're right. I don't necessarily.
Does he need to go to school?
I don't disagree with you in totality. I mean, obviously there is a privilege there, right?
Right.
We know that
right.
with money. And, obviously being who he is, there is a privilege there, particularly like when he was Nike and he's at the height of his career and some of this stuff was going on. It may have got swept under the rug. But at this point, I mean, he's darn near 50-ish, right?
Yeah,
and I just think like this is just who this. When I say that, this is just who this person is.
Okay.
This is just who they're going to be.
And I personally think, have been an athlete and have watched great athletes destroy themselves. There's something inside of you that's telling you that you're not who you were.
But do you think he's destroying them? Would you classify it as that?
Here's what I'm going to say. I think there's inside of you, you start to know that you're not who you were.
Okay.
Now, how you respond to that could be a number of things.
Good point.
Okay. Now, I'm thinking with him, I think he knows it, But I think there's because golf is different. Golf, you could actually have a good round, right, and make you think like you're still on top of the world. But I think he now knows himself that nobody's telling him he can't be at the top. But I think in his mind, he knows his game is not where it was. And he does not know how to handle that. I think what he's projecting to me is the leftover of a great athlete who doesn't know what else to do.
That's a good point.
This is his second DUI. The first was May in 2017.
Yeah.
I want to pitch in something here.
I'm sorry. Did he get convicted of that first one? Or was that just a charge?
He pleaded guilty to reckless driving.
Okay.
I'm going to pitch a different idea here because let me say what he.
You got to introduce yourself, man.
Producer Matt.
Producer Matt.
Hello.
Producer Matt.
When he was arrested in 2017, he had 5 drugs in his system: Vicodin, Dilaudid, Xanax, Ambien, and THC. That sounds to me like a man who's been through a bunch of surgeries and a bunch of pain, and so he's got prescription drugs and smoking a little bit of weed to try to deal with it.
Yeah.
I think he is a drug addict.
I think he's in a lot of pain. I'm going to go back to the pain part.
I'm gonna agree with you.
So you're saying the injuries resulted in addiction issues?
I think he's got an addiction issue. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think
Matt's right.
yes, and I agree with you. And any of the alcohol pieces are just a thing, but he's gonna, because and there's probably opportunities where he has taken medication and probably drank too.
Yeah, that's normal.
He didn't have alcohol in his system.
There was no alcohol in his system.
I don't think he's actually ever been in an accident or arrested for DUI where it was alcohol. I think it has been substances every time.
So then we wouldn't have to make the case. Then that's why he's not, quote, had gone to jail in any of these situations, or
you still can't do that in trial.
I understand that.
It's still a DUI.
Yeah.
But you look at his physical health, tying back to what Matt said. He's still recovering. He had a disc replacement in October of 2025 and a ruptured Achilles tendon in March of 2025. So October 2025 and then March of 20. He's had like 2 major surgeries within the past 12 to 16 months, right?
Yeah.
And let me ask this question, and because maybe I should know this, but I don't know this. Is that from playing?
Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah,
those were
back.
Yeah. And no, I'm saying that I know that it happened during the time. Maybe it's back and all that kind of stuff, but the Achilles and all that kind of stuff,
and the knee. And I know, like, at one point he was trying to like train like a Navy SEAL, so he would be like running with like combat boots on. He was doing this weird training regimen, and I know that threw off some of his knee, and maybe that contributed to the Achilles problem. And then obviously just swinging that golf like that, at the velocity that he once was swinging it, that contributed to the back problem.
Well, he started so young. He was doing this when he was
true.
still a child. He's essentially been training like a pro since he was single digits in age.
So that swings the conversation differently, because it swings to, number one, how injuries ultimately maybe affect your mental health.
Right.
It could possibly lead to SUD issues. And then so we can kind of combine Matt and your point, Coach Lee. And now not only are you seeing the injuries stack up, but now there is a natural depression because you're seeing that you're not once what you was.
Yeah.
So that now that further contributes to the addiction issues, and it leads to a lot of the things that we've been seeing, like far as SUD and substance use disorder in athletes, suicide in athletes, depression in athletes, because when you have all these things combined, again, I was just a Division II football player, and my shoulder is shot. I'm talking about like done.
Right.
Like I can barely like kind of lift on it. I have to be very, very careful sleeping on it, lifting on it. So I can't imagine, to your point, Matt, somebody who's been playing consistently since 3 years old. Now you're in your 50s and all that stuff tied up, sort of stacked up on you. Now you were at the top of the mountain, and now you're not.
And to a piece of that, the way we talked about his swing and all these kinds of things, the power in which all of that demanded, I mean, come on. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that
It's hard on your body.
Yeah, it's going to be hard on your body, you know. And so, you know, you can football causes a whole host of injuries. So when you look at golf, you're like, well, what could golf do?
Shoot.
Play at that level,
Play at that level.
play at that level, and swing your club like him and like some of the other guys do, and see over time, because not only are you swinging it that way when we're watching you, but you're practicing every single day.
Any sport can do that. If you play, if you're a professional bowler, I'm sure they have, you know, arm problems and all sorts of things, right?
Back issues.
But
right?
I think again, this leads to a much different conversation, and I think that, you know, when we talk about mental health issues, when we talk about SUD issues, we have to think about those things different in athletes. And it doesn't matter the level that you played. You could be a great high school player. Then once that's over, there is a natural depression that sets in. Once you know you can't do that thing that you used to do anymore at the level you used to do it. So this is like, I think it's a much deeper maybe conversation.
And I'm fortunate enough to say I saw myself not being good enough to keep playing.
Yeah.
You know, I saw it. And for me,
but that
was
doesn't
like,
lighten the load, though.
Well,
that doesn't make it easier.
I think for me, it did, because like I would have probably tried to play again, but this happened like midway through the season, and I was thinking to myself, man, when the season, I just can't wait for the season to get done, because I don't want to ruin my career, you know, with 8 more games to play. You know, I don't want to get everybody throwing the ball at me and scoring touchdowns and all that kind of stuff. But I knew that I just could not do the things that I had done before. And it showed up. And I was like, okay, I just want to get through this season and get out of here and call it a career.
Yeah. So I guess, excuse me, my question would be then is, and maybe we answered this question already, you hear people say, you know, Tiger Woods has, you know, disposable income beyond belief. Why doesn't he hire a driver? So now I think what we're talking about, this discussion of maybe the deeper issues of depression and, you know, the drug issues, that's going to cloud the way that you view, you know, getting into a vehicle and driving from point A to point B.
Probably
to him, he
clouds a
does.
lot.
Yeah, so he doesn't feel like he needs a driver, even though most people are like, "Why don't you get a driver?" Like that's one of the things you hear all the time.
And then you may not want to get a driver because there's also that privacy issue, right? So if I'm doing all this stuff,
where are you doing that? You might be doing driving.
I don't want people to know about it. If I'm going here to there to get this or that, I don't want somebody in my business. But like I said, even that point is a great point, Lisa. But also, we can go back to the women. All those things can be manifestations of a mental health issue,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was probably being a little bit, you know, trying to be a little bit, you know, funny and cavalier about it. But now that you brought that up, Matt, I mean, we probably got to assess it a little different. And I think just overall, outside of Tiger Woods, we have to start to assess these things in athletes at all levels, because it's a hell of a thing to do something you've done your whole life, to put your whole identity behind, and now you don't get the chance to do that no more.
Right.
And
it's huge.
And to that, and I again, I'm going to touch on me walking away. I think you have to accept whatever greatness that you had. You have to accept that as that's the milestone. And for whatever badness, if that's such a thing, you know, all the bad times that you had, quote, into the sport or whatever, you have to accept that.
Right.
And when you can do that, when you can balance those things, then I think it becomes an easier way to get out, to leave the sport.
Yeah.
Because if you leave the sport and you still think that you're on top of the mountain, in most cases, a lot of folks don't leave on top of the mountain.
Right. They've stayed too long.
They stayed too long. You know, they had an average. They have an average
that creates
season.
its own problems.
Yes, because all of a sudden you have that average season. Then you're going to play one more because what do you want? I want to be great. I want to leave great. And then when you go in there trying to be great,
and your body can't do it.
Right. And you know where you see this most? Is it like in boxing?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Boxing is
Boxing
probably
is
one of the worst.
is the perfect example
right.
of
Not giving up.
not giving up and assuming that you
Yeah.
can get to the mountaintop one more time, and you go in there and you go one more time. And what is the distinction between the guy that's beating you? It's not necessarily he's better than you. He's just younger than you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you just can't do all the things that you used to do.
NFL quarterbacks are pretty bad about that
Yes,
too. I
yes.
mean, that they don't know when to pass the torch and move it on. They want to go
that's
to
100%,
another
yes.
team thinking that's the answer, and a lot of times they just stay too long.
Yeah, but again, I think it all relates back to mental health, and
It
we got to
does.
start to look at that different. Now, just move on a
Yeah,
little
let's
bit
go.
lighter. UFL, the United Football League, is the sort of, they wouldn't call themselves the minor league of football, but it's a spring football
I don't
league.
even know.
But I'm saying we need it, right? We definitely we need a different football league.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, help me with that.
Because if I'm a Division II football player, what's my incentive to play anymore? Like, why am I playing this game? And I know that the finite NFL, you only have so many slots. So football has to expand. Football has to become like basketball, like baseball, where you have a different opportunity to play up. Where I could possibly play in that league for 4 or 5 years and then get an NFL shot. We need like 3 to 4, I would say, around the world, you need like 5 legitimate minor league football systems. NFL needs to create a system in which I can get paid and possibly play my way up to an NFL contract. There's no path to do that other than the time you have in college, and they're going to put that back down to 4. All the transfer stuff is about to go, so it has to be. I love this, and we need to support it, and it has to be funded by the NFL to me, because there's no pathway to go. There's no incentive for kids to play football no more.
I wish people could see the look on Carl's
There's
face
not.
right now.
If you had a son, if you had a grandson,
Yeah,
a niece,
yeah.
nephew, whatever, they're 6'5", they could play receiver in football, or they could play basketball and be a wing. And they're just equally as good in both. I'm probably going to tell you, let's play. I mean, other than your passion, let's play basketball, because we're probably going to have a better chance to make money playing basketball as opposed to football. So you need a minor league system. We need it. We have to have it.
Okay, I don't. Okay,
Yeah.
so to that example,
And-
I don't understand the lower league or the.
Because we don't have a lower league in football. There's minor leagues all up and down baseball. There's minor leagues in basketball all over the world. There's literally
You will
this is
hate
the-
what I'm getting ready to say.
there's literally one minor league football. Wow.
There we go.
You're gonna hate what I'm gonna say.
Why?
Oh boy.
College is your.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is. It may not be what you want it to be right now, or going forward, but that is where it is now.
It's college football now, but we need to expand beyond that. Because what we've seen is like everybody's complaining. Well, you got a guy who's 26 and 27-year-old playing college football. Where else is he supposed to play at?
That's college's fault.
No,
He should be working.
No,
He should be working.
It's the NFL's fault, because they need a legitimate minor league system.
All right. I'm gonna break this little
Break
tiff up there, here guys. So I'm gonna agree with both of you to a point. Okay, I do agree with you, Hollis, that we need some type of minor, league,
Yeah.
lower level for these kids, kind of a stepping stone between
100%.
college and football. But I'm also with Carl in the fact that I just don't think the UFL or any of its predecessors. I mean, you think about it. We've had the XFL. We've had the USFL, right, Carl? That
The
was in
World
your
League.
day, right?
Yep.
The world.
None of them have lasted long enough. They all fold within 2 to 3 years before you even have a chance for them to become impactful
because
for
they
the
haven't
NFL.
been funded by the NFL. The
But
NFL has not funded any of those
But
organizations.
is this being funded by NFL?
I think there's a partnership there. So I don't think it's necessarily a direct on rec
I just
funding,
remember
but there's a
the Vince
partnership.
McMahon days, and
Yeah.
he lasted like a year.
And-
I mean,
and-
that was kind of. And these rules now.
And also, this is the
rule changes,
This
yeah.
is an opportunity to test rule changes. So this is the four. And again, we've seen the rule changes come to the NFL.
Okay,
So these are-
before you go into your rules.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, okay, I want to give you my story
Yeah.
to the USFL. All right. I was an NFL guy from age 7. That's where I wanted to go. Okay. So I'm getting calls and stuff, and I'm thinking I'm going to get an opportunity to play in the NFL, USFL, guaranteeing me. They're matching the money that the NFL is giving me, and they want me to come to the USFL. I thought about it, but you know what I said? I said I've spent my entire life wanting to go to the NFL. I do not want to go to something that I think is going to be less than. So to me, the problem that we have is no player is going to dream to play in that league. Their dream is going to always be the NFL. And now you might get to go to that other league, but your dream is nobody is dreaming to be in an.
I think your argument is flawed in two ways. Number one, the USFL, the XFL, all the predecessors of the UFL were trying to compete with the NFL. They were calling themselves, we are a professional league, we are competing with the NFL. What this league is doing, they're not doing that. They're saying if you're a young coach and you want an opportunity to coach and build your resume, come here, and then you move up. If you're a player who's played college football, you don't have an opportunity at the NFL, come here and move up. We've literally seen teams they have signed players. So the Redskins, the NFL team have signed players who play in the USFL that are like on practice squads, who are free agents. I can sign you, get some tape, and then if you're good enough, you can come here. This league is not trying to compete with the NFL. What it's saying, it's a complimentary league to say, hey, if you need reps, if you need to play, if you're not getting your opportunity, if you went to the training camp here, you didn't work out here, you can come here and play. We've seen players play in the spring football league, then transition directly to NFL camps in the summer. And we've also seen, there's nothing. This is positive.
Do we know one that's
there's a kicker who was a Pro Bowler. I forget his name. He's a kicker who's a Pro Bowler, and there was like several backup quarterbacks and a few running backs and linebackers that I don't know their names.
Right.
But they transitioned from the USFL to the NFL, and this is an opportunity for the NFL to test rules. So let me just go over the rules right quick.
Yeah, let's hear the rules.
All right. So one of the rules, several of the rules that they're testing out this year, a 4-point field goal. So basically, a 4-point field goal. So if you kick a field goal from 60 plus, now it's going to count as 4 in USFL.
Instead of 3.
They've outlawed the tush push. Once you pass the 50-yard line, so if you start a drive on the 20, 25-yard line, you make it into your 40, you can no longer punt, so you have to go for it on 4th down. So it changed the dynamic of your play calling. Instead of receivers having 1 foot inbound, 2 feet inbounds at the NFL level, they can have 1 foot. There's an overtime shootout rule. The format 3 alternative attempts from the 5-yard line for each team, and I can go more detail into that later. The point after the touchdown, so you can go for the traditional 1 point. That's from the 15-yard line. There's a 2-point try from the 2-yard line, and there's also a 3-point try from the 8-yard. So those are like, you got to try to get the quote-unquote touchdown or the conversion. Defensive pass interference, they adopted the NFL rule, and obviously the kickoff. So they moved it up 5 yards. So again, this is an opportunity. So those are the new rules.
Right. And my question is why? Why are they doing this?
To test them out, to see how they look, to see if it's pliable. Like we've seen the kickoff change.
So they think that if they do those things, I mean, this is just my opinion, and I need to educate myself more. I'm just not a UFL fan. Maybe I need to watch it more often, and maybe I would become a better fan. But some of these changes, they sound a little gimmicky.
100%.
And it sounds like a ploy to get more viewership, which I know they need. And maybe it'll work. Maybe some people will tune in just to see how it works out.
I don't think it's a ploy. I don't think it's a gimmick. I think the NFL is saying, why don't y'all try this and see how this plays and see how this
Would
looks.
The NFL make those kind of changes? Those are pretty fun. I'm talking about all of those changes.
They're not going to make all of them.
Let me give you a good comparison here. Major League Baseball, that's my sport. That's what I follow.
Right.
In recent years, they've implemented the pitch clock. Where did they start that? They didn't start that in Major League Baseball. They tested it in minor league baseball.
Okay.
And that's a perfect example. A lot of the rule changes they've done in the major leagues have come from the minors. Same thing here when it comes to bringing players in. When you sign, I knew somebody, I worked with him right out of high school. He was from Buffalo, West Virginia, and he got signed to be a pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, he went into the minor leagues, but he got a $700,000 contract as an 18-year-old.
Which is awesome.
In the Diamondbacks organization. And then literally clocked out and quit his job at Walmart, and that was it. He was off working for the Diamondbacks. But he was in the pros from that point on. So, that minor league system, I mean, not only does it give you a place where you can find talented, qualified players,
right,
but you can try out all of this kind of stuff. That's the perfect place for it.
It just seems like a lot for all at once, that baby. I don't know. It just sounds like it changes the fundamentals of the game. Carl, you're the player. Come on.
One thing they changed from the UFL is the kickoff. So now there's no header conclusion. You start 10 yards apart and then you kick it. So that's one fundamental change. It just is to put a pin in my point. Yeah. There's been 100 spring league players included in NFL rosters from 2022. 100. That's a difference. And that's an opportunity.
Yeah, it is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, I get it as it's an opportunity and that you make the team. You're on the roster. I just don't know. And again, me being a lucky guy to make a roster out of a 7th round pick. So I'm not that guy up here. I'm that guy who's down here at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I can come back and then say, well, I didn't have to be at the bottom. I think, my career speaks and says that I could have maybe been a little higher, and so maybe they got it wrong. So to your point of the recruitment of athletes, it is flawed. I do.
How?
I think the way we recruit, because
recruit, or are you talking about what do you mean?
No, I'm talking to get to the pros.
Okay, got you.
To get them in the draft, the way they draft.
Yeah,
it's not really science, but they
try to
make it science. Like they try to make it that they done all the research. Because if you did all the research, you would never have a 7th round pick when the draft was like 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever it was. That 7th round guy is not going to be on your roster.
Nah, I disagree with that. Because it's certain intangibles like I can't account for. I can't account for just, and this is a story you told. I can't account for you being with a roommate for somebody who's clearly more talented than you, but drunk himself out the league. Maybe I can't account for somebody who's just going to work harder than the other person that I drafted in the 1st round. I can't account for that.
But you're counting. Yes, but you took the risk to draft him.
It doesn't matter because all the metrics said that he was better than you, but that didn't turn out to be true. And what I'm trying to say is that we need a minor league system in football. We need it.
And I totally agree with that point, Hollis. I totally agree. But is this the right venue? Because like
100%.
we said, I mean, I'm talking about just the league, this whole UFL,
I don't
XFL.
think that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not needed having some type of a level in between college and the NFL. That's totally needed.
And
I'm just wondering if this is the appropriate group. I don't know what league,
yes,
right?
Yes, that's okay.
I mean,
why wouldn't it be? I don't understand.
I
just think it's gimmicky. I don't know.
I think you have to. I think it should come from, if you're going to do it, it needs to come from the inside. It needs to come from inside of the NFL.
The NFL has already said they're not going to foot the bill holistically. They're not going to foot the NFL's already. They clearly made that statement and made that distinction because liability and probably a bunch
and
of.
that's what they need, money. Though. They need the NFL.
More probably money from owners.
But it's also they've come to a sweet spot with the UFL because number one, there is. I don't want to go as far as they're saying they're subsidizing, but I would imagine there's some backdoor help that's able to stabilize the league. And number two, what they're realizing is development, and particularly at the quarterback position, because there's a few quarterbacks that have made the transition from the USFL because that's the one position in which you need more reps, you need more time. I think of a guy like the quarterback for the Colts, kid from Florida.
I can't think of his name
either. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Kid from Florida. He's looking it up for us.
Okay.
Very talented guy, but clearly just didn't have enough. I think he played
Daniel Jones.
No, the backup.
Oh.
From Florida. Clearly just didn't have enough reps. Right? So in
Are you talking about Riley Leonard?
No. He's from Florida. Black kid from Florida. Number 5.
Google's failing me here.
It'll do that sometimes.
Colts backup quarterback from Florida, but clearly just didn't have enough reps. Right, so in a situation like that, a perfect world, you could send him to the USFL, get a season under your belt, get more reps, and then come back.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
3rd time's a charm.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
I can make the case. I played a different position in college than I did pro, and in my time in making that switch, there's enough time.
Got to get out of the you though. This ain't you, and this is a different era. You didn't have time. There was no other choice. Number one, and you were a good enough athlete that you could make the transition.
But I think I just don't know. Like I just don't know how to buy into it being creating a systematical way to make sure we get something.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Every other league has a minor league system except football. Why? Every other league, every other sport.
That's exactly.
Soccer, tennis, hockey, baseball, basketball, NASCAR. All these have a semblance of a minor league league, except for football. Why?
Probably the owners don't want to spend the money.
There it is.
But okay, but that doesn't say we don't need it. So I'm saying
we need it.
I give you
And
that.
that's what's concerning about the UFL, because Major League Baseball, they have all their lower level leagues, and they own them. I mean, they have ownership. They say, these kids go to this team whenever they make the big leagues. And with the UFL, the NFL says, oh, okay, that's cool. We'll take some of your players when they're ready, but we're not going to help you out. We're not going to own you. We're not going to look at you like the Major League Baseball looks at their minor leagues. Does that make sense? They don't have a relationship with us.
No, they got a relationship.
So they do.
They don't have ownership. They got a relationship because obviously they're influencing these, like, just playing with the rules. These aren't coming from just arbitrary.
Would you be okay with, let's say, the Vikings had a team? The Vikings. It's the Minnesota Vikings, and then there is a Vikings sub-team, right?
100%.
Okay. Because here's part of the transition, and part of the hardest part of the transition is what you did in college versus what you're going to do in the pros. A lot of players can't make that transition. They can't do the things that they're being asked to do at a level that they need to play. So if you gave them an opportunity to advance, so practice could be with the team. But you could still be playing.
But that's what this is.
I'm trying to work with you.
Yeah.
I'm working my way back to you to be with you. Okay. I want us to have a little love after the show. So I can understand but I think those guys have to be designated to a team.
I think some of them are.
And if you do that, then they have an opportunity, I think, to learn that system. But again, some of those guys, everybody's not going to make it in that group.
That's fine.
And so you're going to get cut. And are you going to go somewhere else, or like what?
I just don't think. I think this is kind of wild to me that this would be like, because this is just such a win-win. If you're a player coming from state or UC, yeah, your dream is to go to the NFL. But if that doesn't happen, now I can go somewhere else, get health insurance, because they get health insurance. Mm-hmm. They make $75,000 a year playing in this league. So I make $75,000, not all the money in the world, but it's a start. I have the opportunity to openly audition, because the UFL is not saying, well, you got to stay here. They're saying, hey, go sign with that team if you can sign with them, if you can get an NFL contract, or maybe even Canada if you can get up there. So I got the opportunity to make a little money after college. I got the opportunity to get health care. I got opportunity to get tape to go to a team. And I also have there's a guy who I think he coaches the Columbus team. He's from West Virginia. Beckler, I think is his name. He was a former tight end for West Virginia. So now if I'm a coach, I got the opportunity to say if I want to go to coaching, and again, only so many slots available, and I don't get a good D1 job or I don't get an NFL job, then I can go there, get my bones, start coaching there, and then work my way up. So on the coaching side, the GM side, the player side, the player development, I got the opportunity to go work, learn, and then move on. This is a win-win.
The only person that is not a win-win is going to be to the GM and the owner.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How?
Because they don't want to pay.
What do you mean?
They're not going to want to pay.
You're talking about the NFL.
I'm talking
now.
about the GMs of the
He's
UFL
talking about
teams.
the UFL, I believe.
I'm not talking about the
My
NFL.
only concern
But I was
is
going to,
they stay financially afloat, because it's obviously been a problem when you have to merge two leagues to stay up keep your head above water. So, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for the kids. Like you're talking about, Hollis. They get paid, they get insurance. But we've seen historically these leagues don't last. I mean, not one has lasted more than 2 or 3 years.
Because they don't make money.
They don't make money.
Right.
They don't make money.
And I think they've always tried to be a competitor to the NFL, and I don't think that's what this league is doing.
Well, then I hope that's the case.
So if you put them together, if the NFL is going to co-sponsor or sponsor, okay, then the question becomes,
which would be ideal.
Yeah,
it would be.
If they Viking team,
but that's not where we're at though. Where we're at is the NFL. I think they understand they need this league. Now, again, whether they're at the point where they want to break bread and actually become financially involved is one thing, but the NFL realizes we need this team. We need this league. We need them.
The owners will never bow down to them.
I think they don't have a choice no more, because you need this league. College football needs this league because again, you don't want 28-year-old dudes out here playing college football no more. Nobody wants that. And the NFL owners saying we don't have an opportunity to test rules. We need a place where we can say, is this rule? How does this rule look in action? How does this feel in action? And I would think also if I'm an owner standpoint, because it's going to become a time, and there's going to be another strike, there's going to be another walkout, there's going to be another stoppage of play, like there's about to be with the referees potentially. And now we can say, okay, y'all want to stop? Y'all come over here and play. So this league, it's needed. Now, again, I think it's going to take the owners a while to catch up financially to actually invest in it. But after a few years, if they see that it's sustainable, they're going to say, okay, we're going to start figuring out some sort of partnership, whether it's a direct team to team or it's just league to league. But they have to have this league. We need it.
I want to. We don't have time right
now.
You got
to do the Final Four.
But I want to fight this again.
Oh,
so let us take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. FrankWalkerLaw.com. Comment on episodes or suggest topics at our Facebook page. Search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee, and remember to like the page to become part of the conversation.
Let's face it, bad things happen to good people. Seriously injured in a car accident, trucking accident, or even wrongfully arrested. Life happens, and when it happens to you, you will need sound legal advice and aggressive representation. That's when you call attorney Frank Walker at 304-413-0179. That's 304-413-0179. Lock it in your phone, text it to a friend. 304-413-0179. Or visit online at attorneyfrankwalker.com.
All right, so I guess we'll put a pin in that argument for later. All right, so
we do have to come back to that.
We got the Final Four coming up. We had a crazy game, a buzzer beater with two historic programs, Duke and UConn. UConn was able to pull off that. I mean, that was darn near shot that from the logo.
There's a clip that only lasts like a minute from the announcer of the UConn Huskies. If we want to listen to it, it's really pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
left to go. They're trying to steal and pluck this thing away on the inbound pass. Cam Boozer not going to be fouled right away. What's going on here? Where is the foul? Oh, my goodness. It's going to be stolen. This could be for the win. Shot from downtown. Oh, my God. He made the shot. 0.3 left to go. 73-72. UConn just nailed a bucket. Oh, my goodness. 0.3 left to go. You have got to be kidding me.
Now,
This sounds like my porch last night.
there's
watching
sometimes there are people who just will do that. They'll fake that excitement. That was excitement right there.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about too.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think when you start talking about like March Madness and you start talking about games like that, I don't know how you don't grow an audience, because you got folks who are like mad that they didn't see it, and they're trying to catch it on ESPN. They're trying to catch it for wherever they could find it. That is really what you start.
And I bet you, Hollis, you probably like tuned in and out of that game because it was such a big deficit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they really had to, 19 points they came back from, I think? Yeah.
And like I said, it's just a testament to UConn. Like, I love Coach Hurley. I love how he's bringing that old school sort of gritty, grimy sort of coaching
never
style.
Never lose.
Yeah.
You're never out.
You're never out. So in the Final Four, we got Illinois number 3 Illinois versus number 2 UConn, and then we got 2 number 1s. So we got Michigan and Arizona. So who we got going to the chip?
Let me go first?
Yes.
Which game? Both?
So we got go Illinois, UConn.
Okay. UConn seeking their 3rd title in 4 seasons,
Something
and
like
after that win, I mean, they've just got the magic. They got the mojo going. So I'm going UConn.
Yeah, I gotta go UConn.
I'll go UConn on that too.
Yeah.
Michigan, Arizona. My man was talking a little smack. He was saying this is the best Michigan team ever. And doing all that.
Arizona's good.
I'm gonna lean to Arizona.
You go to Arizona.
They've got a nice blend of their depth. Like they've got veteran and freshmen, like a good combination. So I mean, I'm thinking Arizona. That's
He's going the other way, I think.
No, I'm going Michigan. I'll go Michigan. I'll go Michigan. Let me just quickly. I know we got to go, but should you think the NBA should do something like this, where it's kind of a 1-game elimination instead of them long drawn out series? You think they would make
I
it
would
better?
be all over that. Over it.
I'm with you on that.
But they wouldn't make the money.
Yeah, but you're right.
and that's the professional sports thing, is making money.
Yeah.
But it would be exciting if you had like a 2-month-long NBA championship sort of thing.
I think it would be super cool. So I think we have a few minutes. We wanted to mention, talk a little bit about a player that tragically passed away. That was one of Carl's teammates. He was a member of the Ring of Honor for the Minnesota Vikings, was inducted in 2013. His name is Joey Browner. I'll just give a little background on him, and then I'm going to let Carl talk about what it was like to play with him. He was a Minnesota Viking from 1983 to 1991. He had 6 consecutive Pro Bowls. He was drafted 19th overall in 83, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Carl. And he had that reputation of being a hard-hitting, they called him a samurai style safety. So tell us about what it was like to play with him, Carl.
He had a black belt. So that is some of that. The most mild-mannered dude that you can imagine if you see him off the field, and I can see him and see myself speaking to him and him saying, "Hey, Celie, how you doing?" And I don't know if I ever really heard his voice loud. I never really seen him. I've seen him react. Mm-hmm. And like I said, he had all kinds of belts and jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff. Like, so he was not the guy that you wanted to mess with. He wasn't the guy you wanted to get into a fight with.
He was 2 different personalities.
But it was you have all of this, but he had the personality that was just a calmness. And on the field, he's the only player that I have ever played with where the entire defense is solely built around him.
Wow.
Him as a strong safety, anybody who's played a strong safety position or know anything about defense, Joey was never in that position. He was standing on the line of scrimmage, inside sometimes of the tight end, over top of a tackle. And he's gonna make a play. He's going in at the quarterback. We're gonna put somebody else in that drop because he wasn't a drop guy. He was a guy that was so athletic. He had to be a DB, but he was so physical that you had to put him somewhere where he could have contact.
So that's like Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
He's just he didn't even come across at any given time that I've known him. Did he ever even flicker like he thought he was a great player?
Wow.
Like he never, all the Pro Bowls, the Pro Bowls that I was with him, like he's the best dude. You would not, when you think of somebody being the best dude and being in the Pro Bowl, being in Hawaii, you're thinking like, you're gonna be the big dog.
Right.
Nothing.
Not any of that arrogance
Not a loud voice.
or pride.
I don't
Just
think
a
I've
quiet
ever,
confidence?
Yes.
Okay.
Like if you walked by him, hey, C. Lee, how you doing, man? I'm good, Joe. We call him Joey B.
Yeah.
I'm good, Joey B. If we were going to have an argument, it was going to sound like that. He wasn't going to do anything. And I seen him throw his hands up a couple times, and because he's fighting with a lineman, an offensive lineman.
Right.
And you'd make the case that they didn't really want that. He was the kind of guy that's so quiet, so, again, 6'3", 6'4", 230, and 4'5" kind of guy.
Size. And fast, right?
Yes,
really quick.
Yes. Who wants to deal with that?
No, not
And
many
it's
people.
just so gut wrenching that, I have to think that he's gone. And I can remember the last time that I saw him, he didn't, like, he wasn't sure, like, who I was. Because, like, I walked up and I was like, hey, Joe B, how you doing, man? And he was like, I'm good. And I was like, C. Lee, man. Oh, yeah. And dapped up. And that was quite a few years ago. And then even in his history, his family's history, there are a ton of athletes in that family. And, man, there's like, I think there's 2 or 3, I think, have all passed.
Oh, wow.
Not the whole group hasn't passed, but I think there's been 3 other ones that have brothers that have passed. And it's just too young, man. It's just hard to, it's hard to fathom. It's hard to go back. It's going to be hard to go back to Minnesota and go to the facility and see his pictures and stuff like that and him not be there. And I don't know. It's going to be tough, man. But I wish his family well, and I hope he just rest in peace and just know that he was a truly loved guy, in spite of his complexities as a person. I don't know that he thought about that. I don't know if he was aware of how people felt about him and even how they ranked him. I don't think ranking him as the best strong safety, ever in Viking history in my book and could compete against anybody in the league. I just don't know if it even mattered to him.
So I read some things that some people believe that he belongs in Canton. Do you feel that way, or?
I'll say it this way: if there's a strong safety in Canton, Joey Browner belongs there.
Okay.
I don't care who he is.
Yeah.
There's no way of how he played.
Right.
Whether it's the physicality of it, whether it's the speed of it. He could do anything. Mm-hmm. He covered tight ends. He blitzed. He beat linemen.
So we have some homework to do. We need to go back and watch some clips of
what I was just
Joey.
doing.
Yeah.
Were you really? Yeah, I need to do
Yes,
that.
I'm telling you, he is a special kind of dude. And I'll say this, and Hollis, you'll understand this clearly. no matter what the defense was, it didn't matter to him what the defense really was. He was going to make a play. He could have been totally in the wrong position, but he was going to make a play.
Those are the scariest dudes
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
It's like I played against a couple, again, not
like a
obviously not
rogue.
at that level, but a couple of dudes I played with were like that. They just line up kind of anywhere, and they play kind of inside and outside the confines of the structure of the defense.
Yes.
And they're able to like make a play like that. Those are always just the most irritating guys because you can never get a read on them.
Yeah.
You just
Strong safety goes to the strong side of the field, and
Yeah.
he's supposed to have the containment outside of the outside backer if he doesn't have to drop. They put Joey on the line, put the tight end and put the tackle on the outside. He could cover the tight end over him and just rush.
it's like
And who's going to stop him?
It's like
Yeah.
those are the type of guys that are just, and again, it's hard to find guys like this, but they're so instinctual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on defense, it's different because, like I said, you're playing within the confines of the scheme, but you're playing out of it. Offensively, you
have to
don't
be
necessarily
in it.
have that liberty because
Right.
you have
You have to
have to
follow
be
the
in-
play.
You got to kind of run the play.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can deviate.
You got to be loyal.
Yeah, you can deviate, but you're not necessarily just going with outside of the scope.
Yeah.
So when you have those guys who can almost simultaneously play inside and outside, the confines of the scheme, those are really, really special guys. Like I was saying, I would compare him to Troy Polamalu.
Yeah. So I like I said, I wish his family the best, and Joey, rest in peace, man. I love you, and we'll go from here. All right, we are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you